Good morning. Welcome to Take Me Out to the Ball Game today. As we're going to get this rolling in just a few minutes, we'll get you caught up to speed on what's going on in the world of sports. All right. A lot of trades went down in Major League Baseball, and we're going to get into that here in just 1 second. But before we do that, the news of the day was Olympic gold for the United States women's all-around gymnastics. Sunisa Lee wins the gold. Remember, this was after Simone Biles bailed out on her team. Sunisa Gold stepped up and she won it all. So good for her. And when it's all said and done, Simone Biles will not be raked over the coals because they're going to look at it as this is such a great story, right? So good for all because Sunisa Lee definitely deserved the gold. If you watched it last night, incredible performance. And she's only 18. So she can definitely be back for the next one in 3 years. And until then, here's another twist to this story. She's going to enroll as a freshman this year at the University of Auburn, or excuse me, Auburn fans, Auburn University. So what does this mean? Well, because of the likeness brand that is now legal in college sports, this also pertains to a college gymnast. So I predict Sunisa Lee will make more money than any other college athlete will this year on her likeness alone. You can bank on that. Okay, the trades. Wow, did they go fast and did they go furious last night in the world of Major League Baseball? It is not a done deal yet, but it is getting finalized as I speak. The Dodgers are finalizing a deal to get Max Scherzer and Trey Turner. We won't go over all the prospects that everyone's going to get in these trades because most of you never heard of these prospects. But the one big prospect that's going back in this trade that a lot of baseball fans, especially fans who are deep dives, do know is Josiah Gray is heading to the Nationals. He was looked upon as one of their elite prospects, and he is headed to Washington. This is a kid that pitched earlier this year that can be ready to pitch for the Nationals by next spring. I don't think that they'll put him up this year because what's the point? All you do is ruin him. So he'll be able to go into the rotation and have years of control, 6 years of control, and so the Nationals will rebuild that way. Remember, they just lost Steven Strasburg for the rest of the year, and we never know if a guy like that who's going to have thoracic surgery. It is a brutal surgery that no one to this date has came back and been the same. This isn't like Tommy John, where there's like a long list of guys who've came back and pitched just fine. This is something that they take a rib out of you. You have to learn how to repitch. The most famous, most recent player with this surgery is Matt Harvey. Remember how dominant he was before the surgery? Well, he has never yet quite recovered. He is in the majors. He's pitching decent. But he's not the Dark Knight of the New York Mets from 2015 by any stretch of the imagination. Okay, other wild trade deadline last night. So the trade deadline is officially 4 p.m. today. So there's still a bunch of names out there. But Kyle Schwarber is heading to the Red Sox. Red Sox get him from the Washington Nationals. Washington Nationals are doing a complete sell-off. They also sent Daniel Hudson out to San Diego. So he is on the IL, but they fully expect him to recover very soon. So the Padres are going to add him to the bullpen. The other big things that are going on. There's a lot of rumors rolling around out there. There's a lot of things that are going on, and so many players that are still out there. Berrios, Chris Bryant, Craig Kimbrell, Trevor Story, John Gray, Johnny Gomes, Mike Pineda. All of these guys are going to be dealt today, we expect. Now, I've seen a couple of predictions. In fact, I saw Jim Bowden predict Pineda to the Braves. I don't know why the Braves would engage in that. Their issue is not starting pitching. Their issue is bullpen. So if you're a Braves fan, you're wanting to know where they're going to head. If they're going to make a move, the Braves are going to go bullpen. Now, a lot of bullpen pieces have already been grabbed, but there are some pieces that are out there. And we will do a show today at 6 p.m. Eastern. It'll be a quick show, but we're going to do a quick recap and a quick prediction, quick overview of not just Atlanta, but all the other big trades that will go down. So that'll be on the Atlanta Braves. Braves Country Today is the name of the show, but it's still here on Armchair Quarterbacks YouTube. So if you want to tune in, 6 o'clock Eastern, trading deadlines at 4 o'clock, but usually there's still moves that hit, and the dust is settled by around 5. So we're going to come on at 6 to be able to give you just a really quick show for that. And then also things that are going on. There's now rumors of Florida State and Clemson heading out of the ACC. Now, this is a huge stretch. It was really brought up because Florida State's president, Thrasher, said that he didn't want them to be left behind and would be open to moves. That doesn't necessarily mean that Florida State and Clemson are leaving. He was just kind of spitballing, and a reporter ran with it. So you got to be careful what you say, especially when you're the president of a major university, because it's going to become headlines. I don't expect them to move. I expect them to bring teams in. But if they do move, let's say they brought Florida State and Clemson into the Southeastern Conference, they would be getting close to a 20-team super conference, and look out the rest of the leagues, because you're going to be left behind at that point. Teams like Miami, who don't really have a lot to offer in the big scheme of things, they would be left out of the super race. So even though Miami has a strong tradition in college football, they don't have the resources that the major universities do. The other big story before we tail on out here, Sean Payton is ticked off, and he's ticked off in a big way because he says that Michael Thomas's ankle surgery should have been done months ago, which he's right. It was done in the middle of June. Feel like it was, I'm not going to say stupid, but it was really, really, they were dragging their feet, all puns intended here. They were dragging their feet on this ankle surgery because they knew that he was hurt, injured week 1 or 2. He kind of played through the pain, was hoping it would go away. When it didn't go away by March, they should have jumped on this. But they didn't. They waited till OTAs, and then after it came out of the OTAs, the general manager then decided it's time to get the surgery. A lot of people think that Sean Payton is raking Michael Thomas over the coals. The way I read this was he's disappointed in the general manager, and why the hell the general manager didn't go to the player and say, we got to get this done, and we got to get it done now. Because according to the CBAs, if medical professionals advise you to get surgery and you refuse surgery, then you can get out of the contract. So these players, whether they really want to get surgery or not, whether they're scared, whatever the reason is, they still have to get the damn surgery if you ask them to get it, because it's a part of the job. It's part of the job description. So I really feel like this was Payton pissed off at the New Orleans general manager, Mickey Loomis, and not so much the player. I think Payton, who's coached for a long time, is not going to be as upset with the 20-something-year-old football player as much as he's going to be upset with the guy that's supposed to be his boss, who dragged his feet. You're talking about June, when you knew this was an issue? That's 5 months they dragged their feet about this. And so now he's on the IL and is not expected to come back until about the middle of the year this year. So, by the way, fantasy football drafters, keep that in mind. Because not only is he free falling, but do you want to take that risk on him? Okay, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Like I said, trade deadline show today. And Hopefully we get some more moving and shaking. I think it's going to be an explosive trade deadline. 4 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Eastern. We will see you. We will see you today on the Armchair Quarterback Show. And then, of course, Tony Agolini joins me with Gators and golf. Got a lot to go over with that. We will see you. Take me out to the ball game.